Well, welcome to my basement gym again. I am Chris, and this is Stretch and Relax. A little change in scenery today, sorta. I'm bringing in a chair. We're going to use this predominantly for the whole class. So look around, find a simple chair. My ladder back chair works perfectly. Maybe you just have a kitchen chair, just something that's not on coasters, rollers. We're just going to be doing some seated hinges. We'll be stretching our hamstrings. We'll be doing some seated rotations using the wall behind us or the back of your chair. It's just something different. You'll feel the stretch differently, and you might be able to get a little bit more out of it, because during standing positions, sometimes doing a stretch or holding a pose can be a little bit more of a challenge. So this is going to feel different. I'm going to enjoy it tremendously because I know what I'm going to do, and it's going to be lovely, wonderful for the backs of our legs and our quadriceps and our hips. So if you've been doing a lot of sitting lately, pull out the chair for another reason to use it. Well, let's just go ahead and start standing. Again, you can have shoes on, shoes off, whatever's comfortable for you. I'm going to kick my shoes off and free my tootsies. We're going to stand. Just standing by our chair. We're not going to sit yet. Just want us to stand, find our balance, and just relax the mind, quiet the thoughts, pushing out all those external to-do lists that we have today. And just take a breath in and exhale. As we breathe, let's focus on making our belly raise as well as our rib cage and our sternum. Sometimes it just takes a little physical feedback of having a hand on your upper chest and on your belly, so that way you can feel the hands raise and fall as we breathe. Sometimes that mind and muscle connection is just not there, and we think we're breathing, but it's all shallow, it's all up here, which makes our shoulders raise and our sternum lift. Excuse me. But it also, we want to make our belly billow open. Apologize for any coughing today. I'm not sick. I just have asthma, and finding out about mold and derecho being stirred up kind of shed light on why my asthma is so out of control. So I'm sounding a bit raspy. That's from nebulizer and added inhaler use. So apologize for any cough ahead of time. Let's just quiet out those thoughts. Breathing. And if you want, close your eyes. You don't have to. Just let our body sway gently side to side. Feet staying in full contact with the floor. It's just a shift of weight, heavier in our right leg, heavy in our left leg. And letting that weight settle right down the midline. 50-50. And then a gentle shift of the weight into the balls of our feet and into the heel. Again, I'm not lifting my toes or my heel. It's just a shift where I'm heavier in the heels, maybe heavier in the balls of each foot. And let's settle back a little bit more into our heels. Good. Now lifting our arches away from the floor. Lifting the kneecaps up towards our hips, rotating the inner seam of our shorts or pants forward towards me. Taking that tailbone and just gently pointing it downward. Our belly muscles become a little bit more active, hugging into the spine without flaring the ribs. Just lift the sternum a little bit to our nose, allowing the bends of our elbows to rotate a bit more forward. And that's not about taking our arms and rotating like this. It's more about a lift of the sternum, draw in of the belly. Weight in our heels. Good. Breathing feels good, full, steady. Great thoughts, warmth, thinking of a color, like an orangey red building within our core. It makes you smile. Let that warmth, let that color spread throughout the arms and legs, fingertips and toes. As it presses outward, filling every crevice and corner, let it press out all external thoughts, so that we were filled with color, filled with warmth, and let go of all things we cannot control. If you had your eyes closed, let's all open them together. Sweeping the arms up and floating them down. Nice, slow, deep breaths. Fill up every corner, every niche of your lungs. Inhale. And exhale. Fingertips reach outward. They're trying to touch the wall, touch the ceiling. Reaching outward, ceiling, walls to floor. One last time. Big inhale. Good. Hands come to heart center as we come up through the middle. Open like a book. And casting the arms out. Keeping the elbows as close as possible for as long as possible until we bring those elbows up towards our nose. And then we open like a book and cast out. Open and cast. 2 more times. One last time. Good. Let's step our feet comfortable apart, toes turned out as we come into sunflower squats. Let's start slow. Just a gentle bend at the knees. Again, remember we press the hips back. We don't lead the movement by the knees. We lead it with the hips pressing back. Toes are engaged, but our weight is in our heels. Good. Let's do 4 more. There's 4, 3, 2, going right into moonflower. So that means the arms come up and we pull the elbows downward. Let's do 2 more. Squeezing our shoulder blades together, staying tall, and floating down. And if you like, hopping or toe heel in till we feel comfortable. And we're going to have a seat on our chair. I'm going to move my mat a little bit. There. So again, using a chair today. Just grab any old chair. Just make sure it doesn't have rollers. Scoot yourself forward so the feet are resting on the floor. And then let's tuck our tailbone under so we're not slouching in the chair. We're going to practice sitting nice, tall, while having a seat. Let's start just by sitting nice and tall. I've scooted forward on the edge of my chair so that way my feet can be flat. Some chair heights are a little bit different, and I'm a short-legged person, so sitting in a chair can be a bit different for me. So scooting forward, we're not just sitting squarely back on it. It's a prop for us to just be in a comfortable position. Feet flat on the floor. Now I want us to take our tailbone, tuck it under, pulling those belly muscles in. Not letting the ribs lead. We're going to pull the ribs over the hips. stitching the rib to the hip. Excuse me. And then again, taking the chin from out here, because this is how we sometimes sit in a chair. We're kind of slouched. Our lower back sticking out, our chin is out, head collapsed. I want us to take us from this position to this, sitting nice and tall, stacking our vertebrae, shoulders over our hips, ears over our shoulders, belly muscles drawn in, just like what we do when we're standing in mountain pose. Find that balance where we have great support and good posture. Good. From here, let's just take our left hand outside of our right leg, right hand, thumb just rest on the seat of the chair. So gently do a seated twist towards our right. Let the breath help you relax into the twist. We're not tugging with our arms. It's just a rotation, using the strength of our upper body, kind of like we're wringing out a towel. And then changing sides. Breathing into the stretch. Wring out that towel. And one more time, other side. Still having that great posture. Our belly muscles drawn in, our shoulders are gently holding that kindergarten pencil. Ears over our shoulders. Good. Take a big stretch up. And floating those arms down. Now, if you have an edge where you can grab onto with your chair, go ahead and do so. If you don't, sit on your hand. What we're going to do is pour water out of our ear. And just for a little added resistance, let the weight of your hand rest along the side of your head. Try not to pull. It's actually just the weight of our hand. That's enough weight. And we're holding the shoulder down by sitting on our hand or grabbing underneath our chair. I have short little arms, so grabbing here I have to tip over. So sitting on my hand can be a wonderful thing. And then just gently let the head fall to the side, feeling that stretch down the sides of our neck. Now lifting the chin towards the ceiling a little bit, changing the angle of our stretch. Breathing through the tension. And now bringing our gaze back forward, again lifting the hand. When the head is settled, again placing the hand on the head. I'm not pulling. It's just enough weight that my hand provides. It helps increase the sensation of the stretch within our neck. Now looking down, I'm going to lift my hand, put it behind my head. Oh, that feels wonderful. Remove the hand and come back center. And one last time. Good, let's remove our hand. Round forward and open. One more time, round forward and open. Let's do the same thing on the left side. If you got long arms, you can grab underneath your chair. If you have short little arms like me, sit on that hand. Good. Now pouring water out of our right ear. This side's so much tighter. And again, I'm not holding on my head. It's enough of a sensation for me just to let the weight of my hand rest here. Good. Lift your hand up. We're going to angle that chin towards the ceiling. And replace my hand. Feeling that tension, just relax, melt away. No tugging. Breathe. Lifting that hand, we're going to turn our gaze slightly to the floor and replace that hand. Oh, wow. I need to do this more often, that's for sure. Hopefully this feels as wonderful to you as it does for me. Lifting the hand, come back forward, and one last time. Again, I'm not pulling on my hand or using my hand to pull on my head. My hand's just resting there. That's enough of an extra weight to give a different sensation. Good, removing the hand, lifting the head, and one more time. Forward, and open, round over, and open. Good. Now, can we reach around and grab the backs of our chair? So just reaching back and grabbing low on my chair. And now squeezing the shoulder blades together. Don't let the ribs pop up like this, okay? So we're not popping the ribs up. We gotta stitch the ribs to the hip. Keep that belly hollowed out. If it gets too much, scoot your little tuchus back towards the edge of your bench, and it's okay if your toes come up. Right now, I'm just worried about making sure we're getting into the chest and not rounding and collapsing in our low backs. Pull those belly muscles in. And now hinge forward. Just let yourself hang forward. Pull those belly muscles in. Now, can you walk your hands up the side of your chair? Can you walk them up a little bit more? I'm just hanging forward, belly pulled in. One more time. Can you walk those hands up a little bit more? The further I walk up, I can scoot forward on my chair more. I've got a little bit more room. But again, don't stick the chest out. Hold it in. Bring your shoulder blades closer together. Shoulders down out of the ears. I don't feel any pain or discomfort in the front part of my shoulder. I'm not rounding or slouching. My sternum is lifted to my nose. Embracing the sensation of stretch within my shoulders, within my pectorals, right underneath my armpit. Let's slowly walk the hands back down and shake them out. Good. Let's turn to the side. We're going to start facing to the right first. Again, I'm going to scoot forward to my chair so my feet are comfortable on the floor. And I'm going to use the wall behind me. If you don't have a wall right behind you, you can use the arm or the back of your chair to help you. We're going to make a sandwich. And I want us to press against that wall or chair. Not holding with your arm. Your arm is just a guide, showing you how much rotation we can get in our thoracic spine. Again, I'm not collapsed, slumping. We always got to pull those belly muscles in, sternum up, shoulders out of our ears. Just a thumbs up, and our gaze follows that thumb. Good. Let's unwind. We're going to do that again. Double check, belly in, sternum lifted, shoulders back. We're going to use the side of the chair or the back wall. Another reason why I really wanted to use a chair today is because if you are sitting, working in a chair, this is stuff that you can do just to help make your day a little nicer, your muscles a little happier. Just every hour, especially if a fitness tracker, it's going to remind you that you've been sitting for an hour. Mine likes to remind me, and it tells me to do torso twists. So that's what we're doing, a little torso twist. Helps relieve that tension of sitting. And release. Because remember, when we get in a chair, we're like this. We get stuck like this. So again, belly muscles in, sternum up, shoulders back. Find yourself slouching, and slumping. I made a new word, slouching. If you find yourself slouching, give this exercise a shot, okay? Do that whole tuck your tailbone under, stitch your rib to your hips. Again, let's make that sandwich. Hand. Belly in, sternum up. Your arm is just your guide. It does not initiate the movement. Movement all comes from right here. Breathing into the sensation. Let's close that book. 2 more times. Again, belly in, sternum up, stitch the rib to the hips. One last time. And rotate. Breathe. And unrotate. Good. Let's come back front. Let's take our right ankle on top of our left knee. Again, I'm scooted forward in the chair so that my feet may be flat on the floor. I'm going to support my ankle with my left hand. My right hand is on my knee. We're just going to gently press that knee open. You can see my knee is way up high. Maybe you've already got your knee perfectly flat. If you do, you're probably ready for a hip hinge. And with that, sternum up. And as we exhale, hinging at our hip joint. Remember, we're not collapsing around our waist like this, okay? The hinge is way down here, so we look like this. We have a rod of steel running down the length of our spine. Great. Breathe into that tension. If you're like me, your knee is a little higher than your ankle. Maybe just adding a little bit of weight by letting your elbow rest on the knee, helping to aid that knee open. If you are already there, if you'd like to increase the sensation, maybe raise up the heel. Close that gap. Maybe you can cradle that elbow and knee while the foot goes in the opposite elbow and sit up tall and rock. So, 3 different ways. You can be here, you can raise your heel, or sit and cradle. No right, no wrong, just different. Remember, if you're cradling, we're not slouching. Again, sternum's up. Let's all return to our seated figure 4. Sitting up nice and tall. And now we'll slide the shin further up, bringing this knee in front of the hip. It's going to change it just slightly. Breathing into the tension. And one more hinge. And lift. Let's change sides. Again, starting with just the ankle on the knee. Sitting up nice and tall. Good. Excuse me. And then again, if you're like me, my knee is way above my ankle. I don't have a lot of hip mobility. It's something that is a long-term goal of mine. You can use your body weight just a little bit, letting your elbow rest there. As we come into our hinge, remember to keep the foot flexed. The sole of the foot is squared up. We're not letting the sole of the foot look to the ceiling. We're keeping the ankle joint intact. Again, if this feels fine right here, you have enough tension to deal with, great, wonderful. If you want to increase, raise up your heel. You want to increase that sensation? Cradle, knee in the elbow. If you can get your foot in your elbow, wonderful. But again, we're not slouching. We're not here. We're here. So if doing the cradle makes you slouch, hey, it's okay to be right here. Embrace where you are at. Love what your body can currently do, and let everything else go. Again, no right, no wrong, just different. If you are cradling and it feels wonderful to you, give it a little bit of love, a little rock side to side. And then everyone come back to figure 4 stretch. And now we're going to slide the shin so that the knee is closer to that knee. And this knee is now lined up with our hip instead of outside the line of the hip. Changes the sensation just a little bit. And then again, hinging at our hip, not rounding at our waist. Leading with the sternum. Come forward into another fold. Just changing the sensation, feeling a little bit differently within those hips. Good, come on up. Let's untangle those legs and come to standing. We're going to still use the chair, but it's going to be 4 more standing stretches for hamstrings and hips and quads. So I'm just going to move my chair a little bit so hopefully I never fall out of frame for you. And we're going to start with just a hamstring stretch. So taking the foot, and it doesn't matter which, well actually I'm sorry, it does. It really does matter because we're going to be going from here to here, and that's kind of tough when it's this leg. So the leg closest to the front of your chair, take that heel, putting it on the chair. Feel free to scoot, rearrange so you're on there. Our sternum is lifted, our belly button is pulled in. And now again, the hinge is down here. It's not at the waist, it's at the hips. Let the sternum reach forward. Right there is where I feel my tension. Notice my hands are resting on the chair. If you need to put your hand here for support, please put it high up, maybe in the crook of your thigh, and that will also remind you that this is where we need to hinge, okay? Doing that provides safety also. Try not to lock out your knee, collapse into your knee. Put just a gentle softness in that knee, so that way we don't hyperextend our knee. So if you feel any strain in the whole knee joint, especially right up front, soften it slightly. You might feel some tension back here because that's actually where the muscle attaches. You can kind of feel a little knot right in there. Feels kind of good. I'm just kind of rubbing little circles right around where the muscle attaches. You can feel that tension like a rubber band. But again, I'm not putting my weight here. Breathing into the tension in the back of the leg. Now, sitting up nice and tall. Taking the stretch out. What I'd love for us to do is pretend like we want to take that heel and smash it through our chair. It's just a baby activation. It's not like we're trying to push our leg. But it's just like a little bit of a muscle activation. It's a distractor, but it's going to help us increase the mobility, flexibility within those muscles in the back of our leg. So starting nice and tall, shake out that leg, make it nice, relaxed, passive, soft knee, and now push the heel gently into the chair. We're using the muscles right here, and they're just like, it's like a dimmer switch. Barely turn on that dimmer switch, pushing with your heel. Now relax, turn it all the way off, and hinge. Pause here. One more time, just a dimmer switch. Turn on the muscle activation, gently pushing the heel down. And I'll turn off that dimmer switch and hinge a little bit more. We're going to do this one more time. Turn on that dimmer switch just a little bit, pushing your heel gently into that bench. That light bulb is barely glowing. Now turn it off, and one last hinge. Hang out here for a moment. Breathe. If you need that support, if we do rotate to go to both hands in the back of the chair, try not to rotate your hips. Keep the hips square, okay? Good. Coming out of our hamstring stretch, we're just going to sweep the leg back into quadricep stretch. Now, if you don't have the flexibility to grab your foot, there's another thing for the chair. Use the same foot though, okay? Just put it on the chair. And now just like that, we're going to do the dimmer switch again. I want you to pretend like you want to push your leg straight, and you're going to push the top of your foot into your hand, okay? So turn on that dimmer switch, just barely, and push the top of your foot into your hand for 3, 2, 1, relax. Good. Can you pull the knee a little further behind you? And then one more time, dimmer switch, turn it on, pushing your foot into the palm of your hand. 2, 1, relax. And you can pull that knee a little further back. Only doing 2 little dimmer switch distractors here. Go ahead and release. And we're going to do the other side. So a little do-si-do. So put our heel up onto the chair, hinging at our hip joint. Let's see how far we can come till we feel that tension. Remember, we're not pressing hard into the stretch. Just go till we feel that tension. Breathing into it. I can feel it right there. Some of those muscles attach above the knee, some attach below the knee. Yay. Now, sitting up nice and tall, we're going to do that dimmer switch 3 times, okay? So, turn on that dimmer switch, gently pushing the heel into our chair. And now relax. Here's our hinge point, remember? Pause here when we feel the tension just start to blossom. And then turn on that dimmer switch. Gently pushing the heel into the chair. And then relax. Hinge a little more. And one more time. Dimmer switch, turn it on. A gentle press. Light bulb barely glowing. And relax. Can we hinge just a little bit more? There's just something about those distractors. It just sort of lets your muscles know, oh hey, I'm going to be nice, I'm not going to tear you, so relax for me and let me stretch. And they're like, okay. Slowly come out. And then again, if you have balance issues, just give yourself a little 180 and rest your foot on the chair. Or just swing that leg through, putting your foot into your hand. It's okay if that knee's in front of your hip. Maybe the tension in your hip flexors is too much. It's all right. Let's do 2 dimmer switches here. So again, turning it on, gently pushing the foot into the hand, feeling that blossom of a stretch within our hip flexor. And now relax. And can we pull the knee a little bit back? And then again, turn on that dimmer switch. Relax. And pull that knee back just a little bit out. Good. Release. Good. Just using the seat of our chair. Do a little cat. Round through the spine. And then cow. And cat. And cow. One last time. Cat curl up. And cat curl flat. Good. Curl on up. Support the back, pinning up all the way. Good. Let's raise up onto the ball of each foot and lower the heels and lift the toes. The ball of each foot, lower the heels and lift the toes. Chair's there for balance if you need it. When we do come up onto the ball of each foot, try not to roll out onto the pinky toes. Keep ourselves anchored on those big toes and on the ball of that foot. Keeping the ankle joint stable and strong. One last time. Ball of each foot. Good. Let's have a seat in our chair. This time, scoot back comfortable. All right? We're going to give our low back a little bit of love. Let the feet be separated. If your feet don't touch, that's okay. Mine don't touch. My husband usually makes fun of me for being so short. But hey, all we're going to do is stretch that low back. So everything I said earlier about hinging at your hips, toss it out the window. I want us just to support ourselves as we walk ourselves down and just hang, drape over. If your hands touch the floor, great. If they don't, let them hang. Just let the weight of your head hang, shaking the head side to side as if saying no. And now nodding as if saying yes. Let the tension release from the low back. If you would like to change that sensation, what you can do is grab the legs of the chair, gently pulling yourself a little closer. Looks like this. So I'm hanging. Just gonna grab the legs of my chair and just gently pull myself further down. To further change the sensation, pull your belly button through to the ceiling. Breathe. Let's walk ourselves up our shins. Get the hair out of our face. As we just do one more rotation. Belly in, sternums up, and changing sides. Big stretch. I hope this was different enough that you enjoyed it. I might do chair again as another option, so you have a couple chair videos to pick from. Sometimes maybe getting down on the floor can be tough, or just being able to stand and really stretch out the hips and the glutes, quads, can be something that's a nice change. So I hope this was enjoyable. I know it was more of a specificity as far as sitting in a chair, but hey, I'm all for what makes you guys happy. So I'll constantly keep tabs at work and see if you guys are happy. And until then, have a great day. We'll see you next week. Thank you.